As more and more airlines come together in the quest to help decarbonise the aviation sector, we're joined here today by Carrie Harris, Director of Sustainability at British Airways, who are part of the IAG Group. Now, the IAG Group were the first group to commit to the ambitious intention of achieving net zero aviation emissions by 2050.
For us, as 2021, we kind of moved from a long track record of action on kind of advocating for carbon pricing and supporting the development of CORSIA. But in 2021, we really moved again to put sustainability right at the heart of British Airways' strategy. And that was with the launch of our sustainability programme, BA Better World. Obviously, we're here today talking about the climate and the planet element of that. So for us, as you mentioned there, our commitment to net zero really started back in 2019. And since then, what we've been doing is really embedding that in the BA programme. So we've spoken today about our purchase of sustainable aviation fuel and how we're now starting to see that really take an impact in terms of our carbon intensity. So we're now 10% lower carbon intensity in 2023 versus 2019. So seeing the benefits of sustainable aviation fuel in our operation. We've also done a number of other things. So we've invested in hydrogen propulsion with our partners AeroAvia. We're trying to pioneer the market for carbon removals. And we're also looking at our operational efficiency. So we're engaging with our pilots to help them be more aware of how they're flying the aircraft. And we've converted our ground fleet to fully renewable fuel, either electric or HVO fuel. So lots going on in the last few years.
I wonder if you could tell me more about your thoughts on the upcoming UK SAF mandate of 10% by 2030.
So the Sustainable Aviation Fuel mandate, it was just recently announced by the UK government, is very welcome. And in fact, it's very closely aligned to the targets that we'd already set for ourselves across IAG and British Airways. So our target is to get to 10% by 2030, and that's exactly what the mandate is incentivising to. We've already been in action, so as you know, we've been working on this for over a decade now. And 3 years ago, we took our first SAF supply from Phillips 66 in the UK. Last year, we were delighted to see LanzaJet announce the completion of the world's first alcohol-to-jet fuel dedicated SAF facility, which we've also invested in. And recently, we announced our purchase of our first power-to-liquid deal with 12. So we're on track. We've currently secured about a third of our supply that we will need to achieve that 10% target. And we're seeing every year just the momentum building. In 2023, for example, we flew 5 times more SAF than we did the previous year. We're still at just over 1%, but as I say, we've secured over a third of our supply that we need to get to 10%, so everything's moving in the right direction. A simplistic view of our pathway to net zero, approximately a third will come from operational efficiency and investment in new and future aircraft. Around a third to a half will come from sustainable aviation fuel, and the remainder will come from carbon removals. So all of those obviously have a significant part to play. Again, back in 2020, we were the first airline to invest in AeroAvia, and we've seen them really go from strength to strength in the last year with their test flights and their new test beds that they're operating. So great to see disruptors like AeroAvia coming into the market, as well as the ambitious plans of Airbus, who are looking also at hydrogen propulsion as well. Aligned to that, we've got the support from Jet Zero Council on the sustainable aviation fuel, but also on the zero emission flight. And what we're seeing there is huge activity across the industry, trying to research, trying to understand the role that hydrogen can play. But that is likely to be a longer term. So in addition to SAF, we do also need to be looking at carbon removals. And again, I'm really excited that in BA, we've been able to again help stimulate that market. In December, we announced our partnership with Curate and Standard Charter and Undo for carbon removals in the UK using enhanced rock weathering. And we're just keen to see that all sorts of removals are accelerated as fast as possible, whether that's nature-based, enhanced rock weathering or direct air capture. All of the above are needed for aviation to get to net zero.